Breathe, A Child's Guide to Ascension, Pentecost, and the Growing Time by Laura Alary, illustrated by Cathrin Peterslund. The day of Pentecost is coming. The church is changing color. The white and gold of Easter will soon burst into flaming red, then cool to green. The world outside has its own seasons. It's changing colors too. In many places, the whites and browns of winter have folded away for another year. Colors are bursting out everywhere. Wildflowers in ditches, birds flashing bright wings, and dandelions popping up in unexpected places. Everything is greening. It feels like the sleeping world is waking up again, taking a deep breath, getting ready to grow. Breathless. The news left them breathless. "I'm going away," said Jesus. "You will not see me anymore." His friends could not understand. On that terrible day when Jesus died, their world seemed to crumble. They held tight to one another to keep them from tumbling into emptiness. But then how was it possible? He was back! Wild joy sprang up in them. This time, they promised, "We will hold on to him and never let go." But Jesus shattered their hopes. Like small children, his friends clung to him, overflowing with questions. "But where are you going? Can we come too? When will you come back? Who will stay with us?" But Jesus gathered them close and said, "Don't be afraid. I will never leave you alone. A helper is coming to show you the way, to stand by you, to comfort you, to be with you always. Watch and wait." Then he was gone, like smoke from the candle dissolving into thin air. They held their breath, and they waited. Sometimes I hold my breath when I'm scared or when something hurts a lot. Saying goodbye to someone you love hurts. When they go, they leave an empty space no one else can fill. Other people come, but it is not the same. I wonder why Jesus came back to his friends only to go away again. Why did he get their hopes up? That must have hurt. They must have been afraid. I guess everyone is afraid sometimes, afraid of losing someone important, afraid of new things, afraid of change, afraid of being alone. It would help to have a friend who never goes away. I wonder who that could be. On the last Sunday of Easter, we hear the story of the Ascension. That is a big word that means going up. As we hear the story of how Jesus went back to God, the storyteller lights a candle, then puts out the flame. A circle of smoke rises and dissolves into the air. I can smell it, even after it disappears. The light is still with us in some way, but it is not the same. Breathe in. The doors were locked. The Bible tells the story two different ways, but in both accounts, this part is the same. After Jesus went away, his friends huddled together behind thick walls and locked doors. Fear squeezed their throats until it was hard to breathe. They had no idea what they were waiting for. But Jesus had promised a helper was coming. Then the story splits in two, like branches of a tree. In one branch, the Spirit comes like fire, showering everyone with sparks until their fear is burned away, and they crackle with courage to say and do new things they never thought they could. Unruly as a wild wind, the Spirit gathers them like seeds. Wherever they settle, they tell the story of Jesus in different ways, so everyone can understand. In the other branch, the Spirit comes gently. Jesus slips silently into that locked room. "Receive the Spirit," he says, and breathes out. In the very beginning. So the story in Genesis goes. The Spirit sighed and fluttered over the waters, breathing life into the world. As they sit quietly with Jesus breathing in, his friends feel their hearts settle in with a steady beat. Their fear drains away, and they feel alive again. Jesus slips away unnoticed, but his friends are no longer afraid. Now they understand the spirit that was in Jesus is in them too, always as close as their own breath. On the day of Pentecost, the church is dressed in red, the color of fire. We celebrate the gift of the Spirit with a cake and candles, streamers and pinwheels. The wind catches them and sets them spinning. It breathes into the banners over our heads and makes them dance. I can't see the wind, but I know when it is near, it makes things move. On the night of Pentecost, we have a bonfire. The blaze makes a circle of warmth. It lights up our face as we sing. A spark leaps out and burns a hole in my blanket. Maybe anything powerful can destroy as well as create. But they go together like life and death. I am learning new ways to pray with the wind and with my own breath. Some days I blow bubbles and watch the breeze carry them. Each bubble is a prayer for someone. We use scissors, fabric, and glue to make prayer flags. I put words on mine: peace, joy, hope, love, welcome. We hang them outside. When the wind passes by, it makes them flutter. I wonder who will see all my prayers. I wonder how far my prayers can go. I like to lie on my back in the grass on a warm day, watching the clouds. I imagine my breath is making them move in and out, in and out. My belly rises and falls as the clouds drift across the sky. Sometimes add a few words: peace, Jesus, thank you, Spirit. Breathe in me. I like to run and jump and move, but I notice a lot more when I just sit. Sometimes it is good to be still. I feel like I'm getting ready for something. I wonder what the Spirit will do through me. Breathe out. When they felt the Spirit in them, connecting them with Jesus, his friends began to say and do the things Jesus had done. They healed. They welcomed strangers. They shared what they had. They listened and understood. They forgave. They loved with open hearts. The Spirit flowed through them, breathed through them, changed the world through them, sometimes in surprising ways. Ananias and Saul were both surprised by the Spirit. Ananias was a follower of Jesus. Saul dead set against him. Ananias was open-hearted and wide-eyed, always seeing sameness beneath differences. Saul was sharp-minded with a keen eye for opposites. Good, bad, right, wrong, inside, outside, us, them. Saul saw Ananias and his sort as a threat to God's ordered world, so he set out to hunt them. When Ananias heard Saul was coming, he locked the doors and held his breath. But when have locked doors ever stopped the Spirit? When those doors were blown wide open, Ananias gave up trying to hide and went searching for Saul. But the Spirit found Saul first, ambushed him, knocked him flat, made him see the stars. The Spirit said, "Why are you doing this? What are you afraid of?" Maybe they were both afraid. Saul, breathless and blind, at the mercy of the one he had wanted to destroy. Ananias, still wary, but trying to love his enemy. In the end, love proved stronger than fear. Ananias brought Saul into his own home, looked after him, listened to his story, tried to understand him. Even his name changed. Saul became Paul. And when his eyes were finally opened, Paul looked at Ananias and saw a friend. Paul was changed in more ways than one. Many years later, Paul wrote to some friends about how you know when the Spirit is at work. Picture a tree. Its roots drink from the ground. Sunlight falls on its leaves. The wind carries pollen from blossom to blossom. Soon the branches are heavy with sweet fruit. Then you know the tree is full of life. It is the same Spirit, the same with you when the Spirit is in you. You see the good things that grow. Kindness, patience, gentleness, goodness, faithfulness, self-control, peace, joy, love. These are the fruits of the Spirit. Maybe Paul was remembering Ananias and the sweet taste of kindness. The season after Pentecost lasts for a long time, over half the circle of the year. In church, we call it ordinary time. I'm not sure why. There are no big holidays during ordinary time, but life in the Spirit is not ordinary. Amazing things are happening. The seeds we planted in the spring are waking up. Beans are popping out of the soil. Flowers are blooming. In the pond close by, tadpoles are becoming frogs. Everything is growing and changing. We feed our gardens with rich black earth from the compost pile. All through the winter we collected scraps, vegetable peelings, eggshells, coffee grounds. Stirring it was my job. I never liked the wriggly worms or clouds of flies. But I love how the bits and pieces we throw away turn into something good, something that makes our garden grow. I wonder if even that is the Spirit at work. One of my favorite parts of summer is spending a week at a cottage near the ocean. We walk on the beach, jump in the waves, and fly kites. The wind makes me feel alive. I fill my pockets with sea glass. When I get home, I make pictures with the bits of glass. I like how the sea and I both make something beautiful from broken pieces. Maybe the Spirit does that too. By midsummer, our garden is full of good things, almost too full. There's more than we can use, so we share with our neighbors. We bring baskets of carrots and beans to our community food bank. We make casseroles and freeze them. If someone needs a meal, we are ready. It feels good to know that the seeds we planted are bearing fruit. Bees and butterflies visit our garden. We chose plants they love. Black-eyed Susan, Anacia, bee balm. Without these tiny creatures to pollinate our trees and plants, we would have no flowers or fruit. Imagine a world without blueberry pie. We need them and they need us. We are all connected. We planted milkweed for the monarch butterflies. These tiny travelers have a long journey south. Our garden is a safe place where they can rest, lay their eggs, and feed their families. Butterflies are not the only ones that migrate. People do too. Some choose to move, others have no choice. I try to imagine what it would be like for me to have to move. What would I carry with me? What would I leave behind? What would I miss most? I hope someone would make a safe place for me. One hot day, my friends and I sell homemade lemonade. All the money we earn, we give away to help families looking for safe places to live. We are far away, but we can still help. We need each other to do the work of Jesus. The Spirit connects us all. At our church camp, we make care packages for people who live on the street or in shelters. We decorate paper bags and fill them with toothbrushes and toothpaste, soap, shampoo, and socks. At night, as I brush my teeth, I notice the clean water, my new toothbrush, the lemony smell of the soap. When I pay attention, I notice more. The more I notice, the more grateful I am. Maybe the Spirit is waking me up. Maybe I am growing the fruits of kindness. time to grow. Summer is turning to autumn. I feel it in the cool evenings. I see it in the clear blue skies and yellow goldenrod. I hear it in the cries of geese heading south in our garden. Pumpkins are green on the vine. By next month they will be brushed with orange. The milkweed is heavy with fat pods, bursting at the seams with feathery seeds. I wonder where the wind will carry them. Before the new school year begins, my church has another picnic. There's fresh corn and lots of berry pies, the sweet harvest of our garden. We also share bread and wine, just like in church. Someone reads the words of Jesus. I'm the vine, you are the branches. Remain in me, and you will bring forth much fruit. We also hear part of a letter from Paul. I remember Paul and how he got that name. Paul says that when we share this meal, we need to remember we are all one body, the body of Christ. When I taste the bread and wine, I imagine that I am eating everything that makes things grow. Earth, air, sun, and rain. The spirit that gives life to everything is in me too. Around me, I see the faces of my church family. Some I have known my whole life. Others are new. People come and go, but we are all connected to each other and to Jesus. We are all like cells in one body. Growing and changing, part of something bigger. The same Spirit breathes in all of us. I used to wonder how Jesus could go away and yet promise to be with us always. Now I'm starting to see. The Spirit that was in Jesus is in us too. We are His body now, His way of being in the world. Whenever we choose kindness, make peace, live gently, show patience, feel joy, give love, Jesus is always there. Always. The Spirit is like seeds, and like the breath of the wind that carries them. It is within us and beyond us. I am part of this. The Spirit is in me too. You are part of this. The Spirit is in you too. I wonder what kind of fruit I will bring to the world. This is the growing time.